Has anybody wondered why Kanye has such a fascination with the mustache man? I'm talking about Adolf himself. Why is it that he's so hellbound, literally, on trying to get everybody to seemingly embrace Adolf Hitler? Everything from the song he made to quotes that he likes to make about Hitler to his, and we understand partially it's because his record label, things like that, and he attributes it to the anti Hitler people, the Jews. So we're going to listen to something that he says that he attributes as a quote of Hitler. Now, our take isn't about necessarily Hitler. Our take is about Kanye's fascination with Hitler and our view about why he might be so fascinated under the excuse that it's about the Jews. Because I think Kanye might not forget what we're going to bring up, but I think he's blatantly ignoring it to do what I think he's doing so that people that he's doing it to don't catch on. I'll break all that down in a second after we hear his quote and how he reads it with such awe. Here we go. Take it away, Mr. Ye. Yay. I don't want to misquote your name.
In his death, he will start World War III. One of the soldiers asked how. Hitler replied, "The day mankind finds out what I was trying to defend this nation from, then that's the day World War III will start. For on that day, mankind will learn that I was trying to save my nation from the Freemasons, the Illuminati, the Jews. For if Americans win the war, then they will conquer the world and forever be a slave to the Jews, and they will try to conquer God." That's accurate. That's exactly what happened.
He says that's accurate. That's exactly what happened. Now, this conversation is not about the validity of Kanye's viewpoint when it comes to Hitler and the Jews. This is not what this is about. This conversation is about what Kanye is actually doing without telling people that he's doing that we believe is the most detrimental thing to the people he claims to represent, Black America. Now, the thing about what he's doing that's so nefarious is the viewpoint of the person that he likes to quote so much. The person that he seems to keep running to exemplify as the person that we should listen to because he was also against the persons that Kanye is against, was also against people like Kanye, which makes no sense to me why you would back somebody that viewed you a certain way. In Mein Kampf, the very book was written by the man he's quoting. He described children resulting from marriages of African American soldiers as a contamination on the Aryan race. This was Hitler's view of Black people, that Negro blood was a rind to the heart of Europe. You understand me? He thought that Jews were responsible for bringing the Negroes to the heartland. And the ultimate idea was to bastardize the Aryan race. This was Hitler's view of Black people that Kanye is pushing. He thought that was lowering the cultural standard and level so that the Jews could dominate. He called it, and I'm going to apologize in advance for this term, but I didn't create it. This was his term. He called it negrifying. Now, our take about it is this. Kanye's music, his ideology, and his thought process is all linked to the destruction of Black America. Even when he decided to come forward and talk about abortion and say it was bad, and he wanted to talk about how the drugs this and the drugs that, and that I was a victim because I was pushing the same gang culture, he went right back into it. Nothing stopped Kanye from going right back into this just destruction of Black America. Nothing. There was still money. It was all a grift. Every last bit of it. This next phase that he's going through is to try and get a whole another perspective on the same thing. And what in essence he's doing is carrying forward the exact same theory and ideology as the mustache man himself. His viewpoint of Black America is exactly that of Hitler's. He wants them gone. Otherwise, you would never, ever, ever quote that man in any capacity. There is no way you can tell me that what he is doing, he is unaware of what Hitler had to say about folks like him. There's no way you can tell me that. Kanye might be a lot of things, but he is definitely not slow. Everything he does is on purpose, which means he has to know the person he's trying to get everybody to accept, hates him too. There was no reason for Hitler to even want blacks in Germany. He didn't want them there. They were either sterilized or tossed out completely. They may not have been exterminated like the other people, but it got pretty dang close by the way he looked at them. They were not human, they were subhuman. So, why would Kanye, in all his black empowerment ideology, bring up and promote a person that viewed him as subhuman? The only way we can think about is because he thinks the same thing. Maybe in Kanye's mind, this whole idea of going against abortion, he knew would bring more people to commit it more. Maybe that was his intent. Because the people who were against it will always be against it, and the people who were for it will always be for it. So, him saying it's a bad thing might actually pull some of the people that were on the fence over to the side of doing it more, not to not doing it more. And I believe he knew this because he went right back into the exact same fields of pornography that would destroy Black America, the music that would destroy Black America. And he has long since stopped talking about the destruction of it from the womb. At this point, the only thing we can think about that Kanye is doing is continuing Hitler's work. And I mean that on both fronts, both towards the Jews and towards Black people, and anyone else he deems lesser than him. This is not about a cultural move. This is not about trying to wake people up. Kanye is on a mission to do something that will be completely outweighing what Hitler did. And he's going to do it in a manner that people are actually going to applaud him for. And I think he knows this. People may not realize they're applauding it, but the more that they buy his stuff, listen to him, give him the time of day to the positive, he's winning. The viewpoint right now around the world is already tainted against the Jews, okay? And he's been an instrumental part of that. Everything from the protests and about Gaza and the things about Iran, all of it is starting to come to the surface, right? So as you heard him at the end, what he said was, yeah, it's true. And that's what's actually exactly what's happening. He's using the cultural shift to adopt a mindset about somebody who equally hated both sides in an effort to do what? Bring the demise of Black America. I might see that as a stretch, but there's no other option I could think of that makes any sense to me. Because if he says that the people he's against right now also hates him, why would you use the words of someone who also hated you to the positive? Enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of thing? I highly doubt that. Otherwise, he would say out loud that he denounces that side of the mustache man. He doesn't do that. Again, he's not a dummy. He's a smart kid. So what he does strategically and knowingly. But if you guys disagree, please let us know why. If you can see the correlation, also let us know why. If you think we're way off base and there's no possible way that Kanye would think like that, please also tell us. But in your telling us, please give us ideas as to why you believe. And if you don't agree with anything, we would also like you to flesh that out. You have a lot of space in there to type stuff out. Have the conversation with us because we'd like to hear. If we are so off base, we would like to get back on base because nobody wants to bunt a ball and try to run and still miss first base. So please help us out. Help us out as much as you can if you believe we're in the wrong. If you side with the theory, though, also let us know and tell us why. Because at this point, it seems almost as though that we can't chalk this up to crazy anymore. It is too methodical, too plotted out, and it is too coincidental for it to be crazy. This seems like he is a very sane man on a very sane mission with a very sane outcome to look for.